good evening. Happy Christmas Eve on what is the final Fool's Rush in before Christmas. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. We've got predictions from the start of the season we want to look back on, and I'm sure there'll be multiple questions come through which will have us arguing, debating, laughing, and crying. But before we say hello to tonight's panel, let's roll those titles.
Take my hand, take my whole life too, but I can't help falling in love with you.
And what is more festive than saying hello to three wise men to start the show off? And let's start with arguably the wisest of all the fools. Good evening, Nick.
Hello, Fifey. How are you?
I am very, very well, thank you. How about yourself? Lovely waistcoat.
Yeah, I thought I'd get the Christmas theme going. It's my Christmas day tomorrow at my daughter's. Is my sons and son-in-law have to work Christmas Day. Bless them, because they're farmers and they tell me they keep the country going. So top men.
Well, I am not going to disagree with them. So in the spirit of the season, can I wish your entire family a very happy Christmas for tomorrow then, sir?
Many thanks, and it's well appreciated. Cheers, Fifey.
Well, if you are gold, sir, then next we need to introduce someone who speaks nothing but frankincense. Good evening, Ned.
Oh, me?
Yes.
It's Christmas time. There's no need to be a Craig.
Hey!
Let's have it.
Let's have it indeed. How are you, buddy? You seem in good spirits?
Yeah, I'm fantastic. It's Christmas.
Indeed. Looking forward to an evening's conversation with you. That's for sure, sir. Because you were certainly good value the other night. Can't wait to see what you bring to the party tonight.
Oh, thank you.
So we've done gold, we've done frankincense. Now we need someone just a bit in there. Good evening, Ben. Oh, you got.
Merry Christmas Eve, everyone. Evie.
Merry Christmas Eve to you too.
Oh, thank you. I'm bummed because of that. Merry Christmas.
Are you gents all set for the big day? Are you?
Sort of.
Oh,
Sarah's been
Ben.
getting everything ready, and I've been there, so it's been good.
So
Well,
Sarah's in charge of everything, is she?
She very much is. She works hard, and I supervise.
Is that how it works? Is it?
Yeah.
Dear me.
Oh,
Ned, you all good to go?
Oh yes. I only need to wrap 2 more presents, and then I am. As a household, we are completely done.
That is excellent news. Well, you must be already if you're celebrating tomorrow, Nick.
Yeah, actually, Di asked me today, is everything prepared? And I said, yep, I think you've done a marvellous job. Everything's spot on.
Come on, guys.
Our good friend of the show, Jo, she's already spotted the first Christmas miracle. Ned still has his hair.
Yes.
And we were saying off camera, actually, Ned, Ben and I, it actually looks even fuller today.
Fuller.
We wondered whether you'd been to see the same consultant as one Mr. Wayne Rooney, possibly.
It is looking thicker, Ned. It is looking a lot thicker.
I thought you were going to say the same one as Ben. I was like, that's a bit harsh, guys.
No, because I've got a Christmas cracker joke for you, Ned. Off camera, Ben told me he went to a Turkish barber's today, spent 25 quid on a haircut.
I did.
He's only got about 17 hairs on his head.
Hey, no.
all
I went
on
to
his
the barber, look, they gave me like they trimmed the beard, gave everything all like a proper shave and everything, and they stick fire in your ear and all that, and they gave me the proper head shave, and then they massaged and they put loads of stuff on my face and wrapped a towel around it and all that sort of malarkey. It was wonderful. I loved it. I'll definitely do it again.
It sounds more like a hostage situation, the way you described it.
Held my head.
It says it along the printer along the bottom, but for anyone watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, watching along live, thank you very much for making us part of the your festive period preparations. We very much appreciate it, as always. Live chat is open for anyone who is watching on Facebook or YouTube. And I've just seen Christian in the chat, and I do believe, as I flash up this one from Joe, I do believe, and apologies if I'm wrong, but I do believe it might be his birthday today. So happy birthday to Christian.
Happy birthday!
I believe I did see that on Facebook as I was setting up the live feed. Oh, actually, no, he's going to say I've done this on purpose because he's actually commented that it's his birthday. But no, I did just see on Facebook, Christian, it's your birthday. Very happy birthday to you. Guys, we could talk nonsense, and no doubt we will be talking nonsense for a long time. Yeah. But I think those watching along would be flabbergasted if we didn't get on with some Swindon Town talk. Hairs for the girls, Ned says they go off. So should we get on and see what happens as we start with the Boxing Day preview? I believe Nick, Ben, you're definitely going. Ned, you're still on the fence, but Walsall at home Boxing Day, it's always an interesting fixture. I'm sure we've all got memories of games not too far gone by. Let's start with Nick, as you appear in the top corner as I look at it. You looking forward to the game?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, we have some cracking games with Walsall. Obviously, the main one. Well, I suppose there are two main ones that spring to mind. Last season, the 3-0 to get the into the playoffs. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get to that game, but I'm sure everybody who went there actually enjoyed the occasion, and it was just a cracking performance. And the other one that springs to mind, which we have talked about recently with Gerald Eiffel, that Eiffel goal, that will live in the memory forever and a day. I mean, what a game that was! What a day out! They needed a point to win the league. We needed a point, I think, to get promotion. Both of us got what we deserved, and it was just a fantastic game. And I say, there are certain goals that they're embedded in your brain, and that's one I will never ever forget. I actually had I was thinking about it the other day. I had my son and my daughter with me, and Alice, she wasn't really into football. And when that ball from Eiffel hit the back of the net, everybody around just erupted. And for a split second, she was sat there thinking, what the shit's going on? And then suddenly she realised it. Everybody around her was going mental. And it was like, whoa, oh dear. Yeah, okay. But I don't know how old they were then. They're probably in about 10 or 11. They were quite young. But yeah, what a day that was. And Walsall's always a good fixture. I always like going to their stadium. Good place to go. I think last season we beat them, was it 5-0? A cracking day out. So yeah, let's have more of it on Boxing Day. What a good fixture to have. Really looking forward to it.
That's that's a pretty good summing up. And Ned, if I could offer you a Christmas wish in terms of what you'd like to see on the pitch to get you off that fence and to say you were going, what would you be looking for?
Johnny Austin.
It's a bit early.
That would be nice. It won't happen, obviously, but no, I would love to see Hepburn Murphy, or Morphy Richards, as he's better known as on this pod. I'd love to see him get involved more and get on the score sheet, because he certainly deserved a goal in the last game. Yeah. And how the keeper saved that, God only knows. But yeah, I'd love to see. That's what I'd love to see. I also would love to see a similar Walsall defensive performance as it was last time, and that was. As soon as that first goal went in, they were piss poor. So it would be really nice to see a nice, sweet victory in that respect.
Just flashing up there from Claire. Good evening, gents. Wishing all the Fools panelists and viewers, stroke listeners, a very Merry Christmas. Of course, send in anyone you want to wish a happy Christmas for. We're happy to interrupt ourselves to do that. And Claire, You are part of the fabric that makes Fools Rush In without question. So we wish, on behalf of all of us live tonight and those who aren't here thus far or able to get to it, a la Woody, who is wrapping presents instead of being here, we'd like to wish Claire and her family a very happy Christmas as well. Right, let's move over then to Ben. What are you hoping to see from the game on Boxing Day?
I would like to see us play without the handbrake on, and I'd like to see a performance similar to the Barrow game where we press them on the front foot and we go to attacking from the off, and we go and try and score some goals, create opportunities, and shoot. That's what I'd like to see, because if we do that, I think we'll win. Just
to interrupt quickly, if I can, I'd just like to flash this one up from Danny, who's also wrapping presents at the same time as being here. # multitasking. You see, the difference here, Danny, is not that we like to generalize or play genders off against each other, but women are more well known to be able to multitask. Woody has actually messaged us to say, watching on the big screen, so can't comment, whereas you're rapping and commenting while watching. So well done to Danny.
Well done,
and
Danny.
Boo to Woody. Sorry, Ben, do continue.
I think I've just said my piece, really. I think we need to be on the front foot. I think we need to go from the off. I think the voice is goals. I think we need to throw caution to the wind, and I think we need to risk conceding one to score a few. And I think in that case we'll win, because we play our best when we're playing attacking football. I think we all know it, when we're passing the ball through the final thirds at pace, and we've got the players to do it. So let's go at them and win the game, and then the chances are we probably will. So handbrake off, please.
Sorry, I've just been sent a message by Woody calling me a bellend.
That's multitasking
because I've called him out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, let's. So we've spoken in recent episodes about the various options, particularly in midfield. When we look back at the performance last week, Nick, are you expecting very similar in terms of setup and starting lineup?
I would hope so, although it was reported today by Lindsay that there's still a fair bit of illness in the camp. So I guess fitness is an issue. But I would hope it's pretty much the same starting 11 that we had at Barrow, because obviously that first half was excellent, and that's the sort of football we want to see. And I think it's the same old story with Swindon. We've been pretty good away, but we're not hitting the performances at home, and certainly the previous two home games were really poor in performance levels. So yeah, hopefully it's pretty much the same team. I really hope that Reed starts and plays in his proper role and can control the game. I would love to see Hepburn Murphy get a start and get the goal that he deserves. And the same with Adeloy. I mean, I don't think Adeloy will start. It's probably going to be Wakeling up front, maybe with Hepburn Murphy. And we just need the forward to start performing, start getting those goals. Once we do that, the rest of the team is pretty good. I mean, we've talked about it before. Defensively, we're fairly solid considering the number of injuries and changes we've had. I think we're doing really well. Midfield, we've probably got the best midfield in the league, better than most.
Wow.
And as good as anybody else, and probably better than most. It's just the forward line that we're lacking, and maybe January might change that. We shall see.
Ned, is the sorry, excuse me. It's the season of goodwill to all men, as they say. So, what doesn't say Boxing Day fixture than Swindon Town winning 2-0 with Shade and Adeloy on the score sheet together?
That says Christmas miracle written all over it. I mean,
miracle on 2-0 Street.
Yeah.
I mean, like, after his performance against Barrow, I'm absolutely in the camp of having Shade. Oh God. multitasking there. There we go.
Thanks, Woody. We appreciate your
You get
viewership,
enough,
and the fact
Mikey.
that you've technically logged in twice there, Woody, is upping our viewing numbers as well. Thank you.
To 3.
Sorry, mate. Carry on.
That's right. I think after Shade's performance against Barrow, I really want to see him kick on. Obviously, I know you said it jokingly, but I really want to see him kick on. And as harsh as I've been on Adloy, I would like to see him get some minutes just to say one way or another whether he can cut the mustard or not. I'm not convinced on him. I'm not going to say that he's amazing. I'm not going to say that he's great, but I'm not convinced on him yet. But it just would be nice just to see either way.
Okay, no, interesting. Ben, are you of similar thought process to Nick when it comes to the shape system and starting 11? Sorry.
Yeah, well, if we can play a similar sort of formation and play the same way in the same team, then do so. To be quite honest, it works so well at Barrow. Then continuity, do it again.
What works at Barrow doesn't necessarily work for Walsall.
I know, but then you've got continuity as well. You've got having a settled team is important. If you're mixing and changing all the time, it doesn't. It can just bring out disjointed performances. So if you get everyone used to playing with each other, then it's good, and they will earn a second bite at the cherry by playing really well. So why not play with the same team again? Unless some players are fitter than others, or illness dictates, I'd go with the same again.
Okay. Rich made an interesting comment in our last episode, so quickly ask you all your thoughts on this. He said FBT centre-back, not left-back. Where would you, if you had a choice, Nick, where would you be playing?
After Saturday's performance, he played really well at centre-back, and on the last pod I did say leave him there. Lavinia is improved over the past few weeks and looks decent. So it'll be in some ways harsh to leave him out. But it does give us options. Brennan, whether he's fit or not, and from the reports today that we're keeping him, he's not going to be recalled. So that's another solid. And I think one of the key players last week was McDonald, to be fair. And I think whoever sits aside McDonald will do a job. I like man at left back rather than centre back. I think he's a cracking left back, and it would be great if we could sign him permanently in January. So I'd be happy either way, to be honest. And I know I'm sitting on the fence a bit, but from his performance at Barrow, he deserves to be a centre half. But left back equally, he's probably as good as, if not better, in that position.
No, I think that's absolutely right. To be fair, Ned, are you of similar? It almost doesn't matter at this stage because he seems so good wherever he plays.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on, as we said just a few moments ago, it depends on who's fit. I mean, if Clayton's back, then I'd like to see Clayton.
It's a good shout.
Clayton and McDonald, and then Fraser Blake Tracy on the left.
AJ Blake Tracy.
That's the one. But also as well, it's a good point Nick's made. Lavinia, he's looking very comfortable on that side as well, and he is only going to get better and better and better the more time he plays. So I'll be reluctant to drop him at the moment. I have to say, it's difficult, but it's a nice problem to have, isn't it? It's a really nice problem.
Yeah.
And just before I ask you yours, I'd really like to flash this one up from Graham Russell. Merry Christmas, Fools. Loving the podcast. Watching from Delaware, USA.
How's the snow, man? How's the snow?
Howdy.
We appreciate your time. It's still, I don't know about you guys. You're maybe used to it by now. But for me, it still strikes me as odd that anyone listens to us. But the fact that people listen to us from different countries really just does strike me as bizarre, and we appreciate your time. Thank you very much. You're more than welcome to join us on live shows and drop your comments in. They'll always be flashed up, that's for sure. We hope you and your family have a wonderful Christmas as well, Graham.
And snowy one.
And a snowy one, yes, indeed. Ben, your thoughts on this one, please?
Yeah, do you know, as I say, I would stick the same team because it did so well, and Lavigne is actually done all right there. But naturally, I would prefer, when we can, to stick Blake Tracy back on the left again, because he does offer better balance because he's a natural left footer, and he can hop onto the left hand side and whip one in, and he does cross a decent ball in as well. Whether Lavigne has to keep running on his inside, which is. If you're a defender, you'll naturally try and keep him on his left, and then it just slows the whole attack down. So I'd prefer Blake Tracy on the left, but the video is doing a good enough job just to cover. I don't know if I've made a long one.
No, mate. You carry on, because I'm thinking I'm going to need to get up in a minute. I've got a bit of cramp in my calf.
Oh, mate. Oh, dear.
So you talk away and I'll walk it off. But I was actually laughing at Mike's comment here about we're still looking for suggestions that things that. Well, at my age, I've done almost everything, said young Rich last week. So any more suggestions of things you'd like Rich to do, such as attend a full performance of an opera?
Fifey, I've got one for him.
Go on, mate.
Take my wife to a Cliff Richard concert.
There you go. Rich would love that.
I've got one as well.
Go on, Ned.
How about go to Delaware with Graham Russell in his minus 12 degrees? Jesus Christ, minus 12. That's crazy.
Dude.
Strip off in the buff.
One idea where Delaware is in the States. It's up north, isn't it?
Horse racing country, if I'm not mistaken. Delaware.
I could just imagine Rich wouldn't deal well in the cold. He's not built for it, that's for sure.
It's a proper Christmas there, though.
There is no snow there, though it's been confirmed.
No snow yet. Oh, I hope it does snow, though. Let's hope it does snow.
Is there an opportunity, do we think, in this game for every Boxing Day this picture comes up from, I think it's like 1970 something, where like every game finishes like 13-8 because all the team's players have been on the piss up. Do we think there's a chance for some goals in this game, Ben?
I don't know. I think it could go the other way because it's back in the day. It was unprofessional.
I must say, I've got to say, Ben, when I asked you that question, you do look very totes emotion about it.
Yeah, well, I think if you go to like the back in the era and players did drink a bit over Christmas, it would happen. But I think they're a lot more too professional now. And in fact, I'm more like to think it's going to be quite stagnant because it's going to be quite, a tense affair, a scrappy affair. So which I think it may well be. I will say on a side note though, that it's nice to be at home on Boxing Day. I think the expectation of playing a lot of away games.
What's going on?
I've got cramp.
Of playing lots of away games on Boxing Day. So it's nice to have a home one for a change as well. So I don't know what our record is, but is it quite good on Boxing Day? I don't know.
If only we had someone who was all set for stats usually, then we would be able to answer that question.
No.
We need a Boxing Day Ned report quickly put together.
Whilst doing the show.
Whilst I'm stretching off my cramping calf, we need a Boxing Day Ned report.
How is our record?
While he gets the figures together, Nick, could this be a game for goals?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be one of those games. It's going to end, high scoring. We will win 4-2. Plenty of excitement. We're going to carry on from Barrow. We're going to go for it, and he's going to just let them attack, and we're going to have a Boxing Day treat.
See, I'm inclined to agree with you, but I'm sat here thinking to myself, like, I'd love it to be goals, but I just don't think it will be. And then I look at the talent. I look at the talent that both teams have, and I'm sort of arguing with myself over whether it could or couldn't be goals. And then I end up just agreeing that because I want it to be, it will be.
Is that talking?
Yeah, but the thing is, mate, I'm on water.
No, it will be.
cramp
It'll be a
talking.
cracking day out.
It's the
100%.
talking.
100%.
Oh dear me. Right, well, Nick's kind of already jumped the gun. He's gone a bit premature, but should we do some predictions? Should we do a couple of score predictions?
Go on,
Nick, are you sticking with a 4-2?
Sticking with that 100%. 4-2.
Peter, who submitted a question for later in the show, he's gone 0-0. Woody's commented again just to prove it wasn't a fluke. He's gone 3-0 Town. Shade is going to score. What are you going for, Ned?
2-1 Swindon. 2-1 Swindon.
2-1 Swindon. Wow. Ben?
I don't know. Do you know what? I've got a nagging thought in the back of my head. This is 1-0 defeat. But
1-0 defeat?
1-0
That's not very
defeat.
Christmassy, Ben.
I know, but that's how I feel at the minute. I think that I think we're quite inconsistent, and I think he's got terrors at home.
Your predictions are inconsistent.
No, they're quite consistent. They're quite dire. And I got it right. Yeah, I got Barrow right.
Mate.
I got 1-0, didn't I?
Yeah.
But I've got a feeling it's going to be 1-0 defeat. But because it's Christmas, 3-1 Swindon. So, side note, 1-0 defeat.
Get in. Superb stuff. Is there anything else anyone wants to say about the Boxing Day game while Ned continues to frantically put the Boxing Day stats together? Before we talk about some of the other festive games.
They're making it a green day, aren't they? With everybody to wear the green away strip.
Yeah.
So any fans come in if you've got the green shirt, wear your green shirt, which is why you need to be there, Ned, with your green shade shirt.
The green shade shirt. As opposed to the yellow shade one.
See that 100 times drunk.
Yeah.
Well, indeed. Indeed. You notice I slowed it down when I said it.
That's why I said it slowly.
And again, at least Nick's got an excuse. He's on the wine.
Yeah.
Dear me. I do like, I don't know if you guys saw it then, but I do like Barry's comment. I'll just bring back up. I give up with predictions, always mile off on the score, but it's a Town win for sure. It has been one of those, hasn't it, Ben, where it's whenever we feel a little bit confident, we get the reality check, and whenever we're feeling all a bit doom and gloom, suddenly everything comes up rosy. So you never do know what to predict.
You never, it's Swindon, isn't it? One thing is for sure, when you go into the bookies, you do not bet on the Swindon game. Early kickoffs and Swindon, you stick well clear of. That's the unwritten rule, because with Swindon, you never know what you're going to get. You know, we can play top of the league and play absolutely outstanding and play them off the park and win 3-0, and then play the worst team in the league and get beat 2-0 and be awful. So it's Swindon Town.
Well, that's actually a true point, isn't it, Nick? Because Walsall, one of those teams, I think it might have been Woody said on, it'd be Monday mentioned it, but because Walsall are one of the teams, you know, that aren't necessarily struggling down the bottom end of the table as such, that they might be coming in mood to actually play football, and that will play into our hands a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I think we've won our last 3 league games against them, and obviously the 3-0, the cracking result that got us in the playoffs. So I think they are. Actually, I don't even know who their manager is nowadays.
It's the good one. It's one from Newport. What's his name?
It's the good one.
Yeah.
Is he still there?
He's still
I
there.
agree.
He's a good manager. I forgot his name.
Yeah. What's his name, Fifey? Come on, we're struggling.
Flynn.
Sorry.
Flynn.
Flynn.
Sorry, I was just laughing at being described as the good one, as if there's one good manager in League Two and he's a
there's a lot of spite.
In fairness, that's probably about right. There is only a couple of good managers, but Flynn. No,
Richie Wellens will be fuming if he reads.
No, Richie Wellens.
I did say a couple, Fifey. I did say a couple. He is a good manager, and if anybody listened to the Harry McCurdy, he had some good words to say about him. So that's quite a good thing from McCurdy to say a manager's decent. Flynn's a decent manager. I think for Walsall, in fairness, they do try and play a bit of football. So if they do that, it always gives us a chance. I would just like to see us, put a hell of a good performance at home in. Because, I think the home fans deserve a decent performance. I mean, this year has been up and down football wise. The country's in a state. Let's give us something to bloody cheer about, and get next year off to a good start. So, yeah, let's have a performance. Let's go for it, and
Fucking hell. No
give us that
pressure, lads.
performance.
The football's been inconsistent. The country's in a state.
Well, it
need
is,
something
isn't
to
it?
cheer us up.
Yeah,
Right, no?
I mean, honestly, that's why you go to football.
Keep it light, Nick. Fucking hell.
You go to football to escape from the reality of what can be shit going on in the country, and you go there. You want to be entertained. You want to see your team win. You want to have a good time. You want to jump out of your seat. You want to get the adrenaline going, and you want to see 3 points.
Condition doing stuff
I know.
Like that.
Yeah, well, I'm under control. I'm okay. The
You weren't under
wine
control at
keeps me.
Mansfield.
The wine keeps me on it. Yeah, but that's only when you broke my freaking ribs. So I'm saying, go for it, and we'll be there, and we'll still be in that top end of the table where we need to be. Love it, love it.
Woody's saying we haven't lost at Walsall in the league since 2017.
Oh, that's just
fine.
Buggered it, isn't
Cheers,
it?
Woody.
Cheers, Woody. Well done, Woody.
There's Toby. Let's hope
Toby.
we're all over them and win 3-0. Definitely not a game of two halves. Like
This is my analogy. I love it. Oh, Toby, I love you so much.
I think the pressure is on at home. The players can feel it. Need to get behind them to get them playing for us, says Guy. Ned, have we killed enough time for you to put an impromptu Ned report together?
Yeah. So
Good lad,
the
well
last,
done.
we have I've only gone back like 10 odd years, but we've played.
Oh, you did that
once.
quick.
Thank you.
Martin McFly would be proud of that.
We only played Walsall once on Boxing Day previously, and we beat them 4-1. The last 3 of 4 Boxing Day games. I say Boxing Day, the closest game to Boxing Day.
Yep.
Sometimes it hasn't fallen on Boxing Day, but the last 3 of 4 have ended in draws.
No draw.
But yeah, the only times we've lost in the last 10 years on Boxing Day has been to teams. Well, Luton, the Championship,
You got spanked.
and yep, absolutely spanked,
5-0.
and Brentford of the Premier League. So we've only lost against the top teams on Boxing
So if you
Day.
beat us on Boxing Day, you're going to have a good few years ahead of you.
Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas, opposition.
Next season, get on the bet for Walsall in the Championship.
Impromptu question that I've just thought of, and you guys might not have an answer, but looking back in the history books, as it were, as Ned's just done there, does anyone have, if I said to you a Boxing Day fixture, is there one that springs to mind for anyone for good or bad reasons? Does anyone go back to any Boxing Day games and think that sticks out in the memory at all? I mean, I have one.
The 5-0 defeat to Luton sticks out in my mind. I remember that. Matty Taylor scored a little own goal, and that Oxford player scored a couple. Hayden. I remember going, this is not great.
This isn't great. You don't undersell it, will you, Ben? Lindsay draws a couple of games and you Lindsay out. You get spanked 5-0 on Boxing Day. Oh, this isn't great.
I'm just trying to think of some. That's why I asked Ned. I'm just trying to think of some fantastic Boxing Day wins.
But the one that jumps out for me personally, and I can't remember what year it was. I'm sure Ned will be able to work it out if I talk slowly enough. But there was a Boxing Day game away at Yeovil where Barry Corr scored the winner. And the ball trickled over the line, and it was one of those where I seemed to be celebrating for about 10 minutes before the ball had even crossed the line. It was one of those slow motion ones. But yeah, that's the only one that if I think Boxing Day that springs to mind was Yeovil away when Corr scored the winner. And I remember it because it was the year that everybody seemed to get food poisoning, and only half the Swindon fans that had tickets actually seemed to turn up. I mean, I was on one of the fan coaches at the time, and the coach was nearly empty, and I had loads of space on the way there and the way back for myself. I was pretty much stood on my own behind the goal. I was looking for someone to celebrate with, but we were all sparse, separate from each other. It's like was like clicks in Mean Girls for those of you that have seen that film. It was ridiculous. But yeah, that's the only Boxing Day game that jumps out for me. Woody's got involved again. He's showing off now, isn't he? But he must have finished his rapping. Luton was so annoying as we'd only beat their place about 5 weeks earlier. But yeah, Boxing Day wise, that's the only one that jumps out for me. This is the last proper, and I use these for two reasons. One, because do we do proper shows? Do we class this as proper streaming? And secondly, I use the word proper because there's some more news to follow later in the show about our festive program. But this is our last proper show, definitely before Christmas and of the year. So we'd like to just have a quick look ahead to some of the other festive fixtures. And two more away games, Ben. The Fools Rush Northampton, where a large number of our contingent will all be there, and then Colchester away on New Year's Day. Include Walsall in it, Ben.
Yeah.
9 points guaranteed over Christmas, yeah.
There we go. If you give me, do you know what? If you give me a 6, I'll bite your hand off.
If I give you what, you'll bite my hand off.
6 points.
Oh, 6. Sorry.
What do you think I said?
Oh, I didn't hear the I in the middle, that's for sure.
Why do you think we've never seen Sarah's hand?
He's over there. Yeah, no, do you know what? Tough games, though. The importance of a victory at Walsall is huge, because then we can go into some. Northampton's going to be a tricky one, but we can go into that with a little bit of confidence if we can start on the front foot tomorrow, because Northampton is tough. They beat us without spectacular football, we're just being well organised, really tough to break down, mountain of a side, and they'll have their top scorer playing with them that day. However, the Fools will be there. Joe's Pigs and Blankets will be there, and Eton. Well, I'll beat you all at bowling, so we'll be in top voice. It'll be amazing. And then, yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. And then hopefully we go to Col U, bless sight, and we'll win there too.
If ever there was someone who needed an injection of some festive spirit, it's Pete. 0-0.
Oh, please.
3 clean sheets and one win.
Oh, Brendan would be like, yeah.
3 draws
3
equals a win,
points
lads.
is a win.
Yeah.
Plus then it'll be like the start of the season, and Ben will be telling us that we're difficult to beat again.
Yes. I'd say we've been in different festive period, because we didn't lose any games. We just didn't win many either. A bit indifferent.
Oh, dear.
Ben is such a negative moo nowadays. He's not biting anyone's hands off.
I'm still not Craig level.
True.
Ned, so Northampton away, Colchester away, difficult places to go. Well, I mean, that's a footballing cliche if ever there was one, but Northampton in particular, and I don't think we have a particularly great record at Colchester off the top of my head. So it's going to be a difficult festive period, isn't it?
Didn't they snatch a draw from us? They're the team who had 2 players sent off and snatched a draw against them.
Yeah,
Didn't they?
last season. Yeah. Harry McCurdy scored, and then they sneaked a set play in the end after going down to 9. Even the keeper got sent off, and we let him get back in the game.
It's the worst. Si's team as well. We've never got like a bragging rights with Si ever, have we? So it seems to be a bit of a bogey team for us. But I don't know. Well,
just to clarify, I've just seen Sarah and still not seen her hand. There's 2 hands there, but how do we know that's not Jack?
Very feminine for Jack hands.
It's all that washing up you make him do.
Washing up, yeah.
Marbury, very liquid.
Carry on, Ned. Sorry, mate.
Oh, well, they're 2 really tough games. I would be happy with a 5-point haul, if I'm honest, from the 3 games.
Yeah.
But you know, possibly it's just Northampton one. Oh, it's going to be such a battle, isn't it? It's going to be a physical battle. we're not particularly the best with physical battles.
Sorry, carry
um,
festive,
so
festive spirit's taking over here. I'm
that's it,
joyous.
yeah,
I'm bubbly.
nice, full of eggnog. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not convinced a win at Northampton. It'd be a very, very good point
A
if we
draw
get
would
one
be a
there.
good one. A draw would be a
Yeah.
good one.
Colchester. Again, it's a game we should win, but we just don't typically have a huge amount of luck. So, you know, we'll see. I think 5 points would be good. 7 points would be even better.
Okay, Nick.
I'm looking for 7 points over the 3 games. I think we'll win at Northampton.
Ooh.
Love going to Northampton, actually. A lot of people say it's a horrible, crap stadium, but I've always enjoyed going there. Might be because it's probably fairly close to where I live and I can get there quicker than I can get to Swindon.
Parking's decent. You got food, you got bowling, and
yeah, it's quite decent. and I'm going to say this, but I'm going to apologise to Joe in the first place.
Oh, don't say you don't like pigs in blankets.
No. Oh God, no. I'm going to say when I took my lad probably for his one of his first away games to Northampton, and the chant was Northampton, wank, wank, wank. Northampton, wank, wank, wank. So I said to him,
do it though.
When you get home, please do not repeat that to your mother. Which thankfully he didn't. So, I mean, we've had some great results at Northampton. I missed the one where we won with, I think, McGovern's late goal, and Di Canio ran down the pitch and celebrated. And I've actually got a signed photo of that, so which is really good. So if anyone wants to give me a bid for that signed photo, just give me a text and we could do a deal. I can remember Lydon's goal at Northampton late on where we won 1-0. Cracking game that was. Absolutely brilliant. And the away fans were going mental. So I think we'll get a result there. Colchester, horrible place to go. Horrible ground. Absolutely soulless. Absolutely hate going there.
Lego brick.
And so I'm seeing us getting 7, if not 9 points over the weekend. We're up for it.
You used some very harsh words there, and the one that really jumped out at me was soulless. So the complete opposite of soulless is our next Fools panelist. Welcome, better late than never. He's delayed, not late. It's Craig.
Very nice.
Merry Christmas, Craig.
Hi, Craig.
Evening all. Merry Christmas to you all. And yeah, Fifey, you're going to trigger a seizure in me in a minute with that flashing light there. Crikey. I love it, mate. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. How are you all right?
Yeah,
we're all good.
Good, thank you.
Good to join you.
We're just talking about the festive fixtures, so we'll jump you straight in here. Walsall at home, Northampton away, Colchester away between Boxing Day and New Year's Day. What sort of points are you looking for from that?
9. I want
good
9
points.
Yes,
I'm not saying that'll happen. I'm not saying that'll happen. I mean, look, I think if we can get 6 points out of the 9, I don't think that's too much to ask. Getting back-to-back wins, that helps. It's always a good morale boost. But Northampton's obviously going to be the tough one. I think we should, it's difficult, isn't it? It's a tough run. I mean, I guess, though, although with Northampton, they'd have played 3 games in 9 days, whereas we've only played 2. So we might, they might have a few more tired players than we do. We'll be a bit more fresh, obviously. So, I'm hoping that we can. I don't see why we shouldn't come away with 6 points. I'll be very disappointed if we don't. If we only get 1 win as well, it's going to be it's going to become quite toxic again, isn't it? So yeah, but yeah, I think 6 out of 9 points is not unreasonable.
Okay, I don't want to jump in when you're doing the serious bit, Craig, but obviously we're not known for being serious on this show. So we have become, over the 2 and a bit years we've been doing this now, something of style icons, obviously. And that's never been more noticeable than right now when you get these comments. Joe saying Craig was late as he was at Ned Barber's. and then Kieran saying, Craig, who did your hair? We'll get them for you.
It's actually Gazza's down Farringdon Road in town. So give him a give him a shout. He's good.
I've all had a haircut today, by the way.
The only problem with a skin fade is it only lasts a week, so I'll have to get it bloody cut again. But there we go.
I'm not cool enough for a skin fade. Jeez.
Oh, you are, Ned. You could pull off a skin fade, man.
Actually, what it is, Craig, that train goes so fast it just shaves you off.
And to be fair, so off camera, we've already briefly mentioned it tonight, but off camera, Ben was telling us about his visit to the Turkish barbers. And Jack actually off camera did say, Ben, have you got a fade going on? And then said, no, it's just a bald patch.
No, it is slightly faded. He used different clippers and stuff, so it's a little bit.
The fake ones. We'll just cut through your hair.
Ben, just wash the strength back in, mate. It'll be all right.
Yes. No, I quite like it. It looks wonderful. Yeah. Whole face.
Looking 20 weeks younger, says Garth.
Cheers, Garth. Thanks, mate.
Oh dear me. Shall we cover some admin next? Now that Craig's here,
I'm glad I got to the exciting bit there.
It's all right, mate, because I've saved your bit for next. Don't worry, the bit that you've really prepped for, because you
didn't have to hold out for me, but that's very kind of you.
Something we're very much known for is prep on this show. So if I could start by, we've mentioned it before. And I hope I get all the details right on this. But at the Boxing Day fixture, I believe Claire will be amongst those with the buckets outside the ground for the Henry Allen appeal that we spoke about before. We donated the chocolate oranges for it as well a few weeks back. The Boxing Day game is for that. And I have heard that the details aren't all set yet. But as part of that as well, sort of mid to late January, there's also going to be a charity quiz set up for those who are running it. And I believe Clem's getting involved and possibly Rob's getting involved as well. So excellent for the club to be supporting local charities like that. So just a little shout out from us that, again, as we always say, if you're able to, we're not in admin again. Oh, he asked one. If you are able to, because as we've said all along, times are difficult right now. If you are able to spare anything and you see any of the volunteers there with the buckets on Boxing Day, please do help out if you can. It's a very, very worthy cause. I would never be able to do it justice by talking about it, but I love to feel we've done our bit just by raising awareness of what they're trying to do. We played the video out a couple of weeks ago that was sent to us, and Debs has obviously been quite forthcoming with information as well. So if you're able to, please do. Fools rush in over Christmas. As I said a little while ago, this is our last normal episode of the year of 2023. But fear not, we are not disappearing. We are not going away. Boxing Day, at Craig's request, I, being a nice tyrant and owner of this whole franchise, have said that the minions can have Boxing Day off, and but Fools will still be here on Monday night from 9. Don't worry, because I have got a very special festive edition of Friends of Fools coming on. We have got a panel of some of our favourite guests, our favourite friends, all coming on to talk about the Warsaw game. I won't give away who is on it. They can announce if they're on it. But we've got a panel of about 4 or 5 joining me, 9 o'clock Boxing Day night. None of the regulars, but a lot of our favourite friends coming on to talk about Boxing Day. See if they've had a lovely Christmas. And you never know, I might have a word with Craig before he fully switches off and say, maybe maybe we'll set up a Defend the Indefensible for them. You never know.
Ooh,
Because they all signed up for that, obviously. I haven't told them this yet. But yes, so Boxing Day from 9, festive Friends of Fools will be on. And on Friday the 30th, we're at least going to attempt, whether it goes well or not, we're going to attempt something a little bit different as some of the Fools get together for sort of a pre-New Year's Eve. We're just going to play some games. If anyone's familiar with Jackbox, we're gonna keep it relatively tame while we're live, and but yeah, we're gonna try and do an STFC themed version of some Jackbox games. A few of your favourite Fools will be on, and we'll stream that as best as we can. So there we go. That is our festive program. Oh, and of course, as I already mentioned, there's quite a few of us. At least 50% of Fools, I think, are heading to Northampton on the 29th. So I'm sure there'll be various match day content of people saying cheers with various drinks, and maybe there'll be the odd hat report, Nick.
We will try, see who we can get.
With this being the last proper show of the year, guys, a little question for you. What has been some of your highlights of 2022? It doesn't have to be Swindon Town themed, your personal highlights of 2022. Let's start with Nick.
Ooh. Highlights of 2022 were, the main thing was the birth of my grandson on St. George's Day. You know, what a day to be born. Little Theo. And as I've said many times on here before, 2 days later, I had a heart attack and ended up in hospital. So my highlight was the absolutely incredible care I was given by the National Health Service in Oxford at the JR, where I had my triple heart bypass, which after a little bit of complications on the day went well. Glad to say I'm sort of deemed fully fit as I will be at my age. So yeah, I mean that without a doubt, little Theo was my highlight of that period, and getting better after such a traumatic experience, and putting my wife through hell for that period. So thanks, Di, for your support. You were absolute diamond. Absolutely love you to bits, and
sorry,
I'm just
but you missed
hoping
an obvious pun there by saying she was a diamond.
Well, I didn't even think of that. Well done, Fifey. Crack on. It was wonderful. And I just want 2023 to be a better year, for me, for my family, and it seems cheesy, but for everybody else. And the other main thing I'd say is
almost congeniality now.
I know I'm going soppy, I'm going soft, but joining you guys on Fools Rush In, you welcome me, as the oldie on the panel. I absolutely love it. I look forward to Mondays and Fridays. It's been brilliant, and having had a great night out at Christmas. Looking forward to Northampton. Bradford was immense. Just love you guys to bits, and just thank you. And it's brilliant. Just absolutely love all of you. So more of it in 2023.
I have to say,
Nick, it was worth having you join us just to see you wear that waistcoat alone, mate. That was,
absolutely
brilliant, mate. That was really nice, mate. And you've added so much to our pod since you come on, mate.
Appreciate that. Thanks, Craig. Appreciate it, mate.
And Mike says if Nick's fully fit, maybe he can play Boxing Day.
The top half is fit. The bottom half, my knees are absolutely knacked. So no.
For Nick,
He's looking. Sorry, Ned. Go on.
I was going to say the best thing for Nick is the fact that for joining the pod is definitely so he can group as many female wives and all sorts. He's had done with females is crazy.
Boxing Day. Get in there.
Oh, you will, Nick. Yeah.
Pete's cheered up a little bit from his earlier pessimism. Highlight of 2022, Derbyshire Reds hospitality day out for the Oldham game at the CG. Fuck Jurassic John.
Oh,
Yes.
Ned, your highlights for 2022?
Oh,
Getting the hair back for Christmas?
I've got such a short memory, and I'm going to miss out some key points, I'm sure. But that I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
at this rate, you're missing all the key points.
I mean, I've been doing it for over a year, but this year has sort of been predominantly the most of it, and I've had a wonderful time on air. It's been incredible. I really enjoyed Bryony coming on a couple of times.
Yeah.
So that was really good. And I think that we're sort of partly responsible for elevating the women's game as well, which is obviously a wonderful sort of feeling going on there. And well, my kids have had a really good year school wise, so that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
yeah, I'm proud of all my family. So yeah, it's been a good year. It's been a good year.
Lovely. I love that. Ben?
Yeah, no, it's been a good year. It's been a good year for the family. It's been a good year for the Fools, and it's been a reasonable year for STFC. I'll keep this STFC related. Probably one of my, do you know what? Well, my best get-in moments, other than obviously the playoffs and everything, was still that Jurassic John, as you say, the victory at Oldham. That was the redemption. That was just to give that back. After that was good. But we go look back to the playoffs. Also, the continuation of Fools with you guys and everything, meeting up with friends of Fools, watching us grow, watching the site grow, meeting people that watch us as well. It still baffles me.
It baffles me.
Spend their own Friday night and choose to watch us. And then they stop me and go, "Hello, Ben, it's Ben from Fools." And they go, "Oh, spare 5 minutes to chat with me of their time and everything." And I'm blown away each time. I just feel really like, no. Oh, it's really, really nice. And it's really appreciated. And every one of you, love you all. You're all superstars. Thank you so much. But yeah.
Before I forget, and before I bring Craig in, we did get a tweet earlier from Gav, who, as we know, he's away in tropical climates at the moment. He did tweet me earlier to say, "I'm going to catch up with the show tomorrow, but I'd like to wish you and all the rest of the FRI crew a very Merry Christmas. Hope you have a great one." Gav, very much the same to you from all of us, mate. Pleasure meeting you earlier this year, and I hope you enjoy Christmas in whichever part of the world you are currently in. Craig, highlights for 2022 for you, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really got any sort of Swindon Town related, to be honest. I think sort of for me this year, as you guys all know, and as people who watch our pod, especially our mental health one, I struggle with depression and anxiety, and it hit me quite bad this year. And I was off work for a couple of months, but I'm now back I've been back at work since August and feeling a lot better now, feeling more like myself. And it can be, as some of you guys know, and as some of you have had to go through yourselves, it can be quite debilitating at times. And but yeah, I feel a lot better. So getting through that, and you sort of doubt yourself if you can get through it, like with any illness, like with what happened with Nick and everything. You sometimes doubt. You think, can you get through it and everything? And I had those doubts, but I was really pleased that I got through that, and I'm feeling a lot better now. And again, as we've always said, if you are feeling that way, go to your doctors first. Talk to someone if you can. So it was, all right. It wasn't great because I had to go through that, but getting through it was definitely a highlight for me. Oh, I nearly forgot. Christ, how can I forget? Not that the two are related, of course. Of course, I got married in March.
Yes, I was waiting. You were waiting.
Yeah, I've done that in the wrong order, really, hadn't I?
Yeah, great.
I was lucky enough to be at the reception. I was going to give you a little nudge in the private chat if you didn't mention it.
Oh, fucking hell, yeah. Oh, Christ, can you imagine? She'd bloody kill me. But yeah, Vicky, who me and her have been together 13 years now. So we finally tied the knot this year, and it would have been sooner, obviously, but because of lockdown and all that. So it's great to that, and it's great. That was obviously a really good day for me and Vicky, and obviously seeing Fifey and Joe, who came all the way down, to my wedding, and Woody and Kieran and Christian. It came on my stag weekend as well earlier on in the year, and that was really good.
Well, between them, they attempted it anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's it. So that was good as well. Also, the Lionesses, of course, as well. I think that was an absolute brilliant highlight. And that sort of spurred my youngest, my 5-year-old, in. She's 5 years now. I've got too many kids. I can't remember their ages. But she loves football, which is great because none of my vast tribe have really been that interested in football. So, long may that continue. My eldest, she did really well with her GCSE. She's studying criminology at college, which I can't fucking even begin to comprehend, where she's got.
You're now having to hide past indiscretions as well.
yeah, true. I can't even begin to comprehend where she's got the intelligence from to be able to do something like that. So I'm immensely proud of her, as I am all my kids. So it's been a good year. It's been a really good year, and hopefully an even better 2023 with some success for the town as well.
Well, indeed. Not wanting to throw anyone under the bus here, Ben, but I'm gonna give you a minute to have a think, and then I'll come back to you, because although there's been a loose mention to STFC, everyone so far has mentioned their family for the most part, and you kind of said, it's been a good year for the family, but I'm going to keep it Swindon Town related. So I'll give you a minute just to maybe get something family orientated in. While you have a think, I'm going to bring Garv's comment up before I highlight Woody's, because the highlight for his 2022 was getting dragged to the STFC Christmas party on a work night with no dinner in, smashing 3 or 4 pints and being sick in the back garden without anyone knowing. Now, I'm just going to say that there's something in that household, because Danny obviously came on our Christmas night out and was equally ill afterwards. So something tells me that although they are, without question, great value on a night out, the day after you don't want to be anywhere near them, that's for sure.
Is that why they both don't come out together then?
It looks like it, yeah.
Oh no, the imagery is strong there. Although they did announce that they're getting married next year, so
congratulations!
Very and we look forward to reading and seeing and hearing all sorts about it in the lead up to it. At least, pretty sure it was next year. I saw the date. I hope I've not got that wrong and ruined something. Woody's been in touch as well. He said delivering his first Royal International Air Tattoo was freaking awesome. In fact, we got to second year and seeing Square is awesome. STFC related, had some cracking away days this year, and anything with us is always a laugh. Hang on. All the comments have now skipped because I'm missing something. I'm trying to hold the page. Other than that, highlights include leaving Craig Stag do early, leaving Swindon Town women, and losing his favourite bobble hat. Among his favourites. In relation to Craig's, I've already posted Joe's. Love the honesty, Craig. There's Pete with the strength emoji. Garv there. Glad to hear you're feeling better. And if you ever feel like getting down the boxing gym and training in the new year, he'd love to help.
Oh, wow.
No.
We could certainly all...
no thanks. Garv, not a chance in hell.
Garv, which gym?
Well, I mean, that's because I said about the white-collar boxing, wasn't it, the other day? I would like to give that a go. So, yeah. I might...
Yeah, you crack... Craig, you represent us. You crack on, mate.
Yeah, go on.
And then there's Danny with some honesty. Didn't even know he was sick. I mean, for me, my personal highlight of this year was to be able to, unfortunately for my own reason I didn't, but to be able to see my lad get his black belt earlier this year was
top lad.
unbelievable. I was so proud of him. I got to watch the last day of it, and it was unbelievable what he went through, and just to see him at the end of it, but more so what's come after and how he in himself has changed as a result of having this black belt has been unbelievable. I ticked off one of my bucket list destinations this year. I got to spend a few days in Rome, which was always a place I wanted to go to, so that was good. And yeah, kind of echoing, and it sounds the obvious thing to say, but it's genuinely true. To see how far, particularly since the start of this season, so go back to like August, how this pod has just gone on leaps and bounds and is far, far in excess of what I ever believed when I sent the likes of Ben and Woody that first message to say, I've got this idea, just over 2 years ago. I've got this idea. Do you fancy being involved? To where we are now, I just can't comprehend it. And it is true, like what Ben said. I always consider myself when we do this. I jokingly say to you, like, I'm the least famous person on my own podcast because being like removed from Swindon and not going to as many games as you guys. So when I got to Mansfield away and people were recognizing me, it was like bizarre. I did not know how to cope with that. And it's like I said earlier, it's still strange. I love the fact that we have people that come along once, twice a week and watch and join along live. Like, I love it so much. And this is thanks to you guys now. Like, you always like say, it's thanks to you starting it. It's not now. I am just the guy that pushes the buttons. You guys make it what it is. And it's unbelievable. And I love it so much, to the point, I was very lucky that the gear that I use now to make myself appear a bit more professional, that was very kindly gifted to me by Ned, as I've said before, and I'm incredibly grateful. And just the other day, I received a package in the post, which I never dreamed would come. And it's a Fools Rush In mug. We've got an STFC tile there with Fools Rush In along the side, and a tree decoration, which got pride of place on my Christmas tree now. And I just... It blew my mind. I was unbelievably happy that we have that sort of impact and people like it. And honestly, I could talk for days about it, but they are without question my highlights of this year for me personally. Black belt. Sorry, Ned. Did I say something wrong?
No. I thought you was going to say something else, and then I was
okay.
Black belt, and then you said it. I was like, oh, okay, there we go. Never mind. Sorry.
I got very confused why black belt popped up in the chat there. Craig, unless there's anything else, I think that covers all the admin bits.
I guess if it does cover the admin bits, yeah, I don't know what was in the admin bits.
That's fine.
But what I will do, go with that.
What I will do, because Deputy Craig will shoot me if I don't, please continue to like the YouTube videos, yes. Give the reviews on the various podcast apps, Spotify, Apple Pods, etc. 5 stars. 5 stars. But equally, we're happy to take the criticism. If there's something you don't like, let us know. And
let us know in the comments, because it doesn't make any fucking difference.
And equally suggestions. We'd love to know what you guys want to see us do. We are pushing without giving anything away. We are very hopeful of having some excellent guests in the new year, both ex-Swindon Town and maybe some non-necessarily Swindon Town related personnel as well. You've seen that we like getting people involved. We've been delighted to welcome the likes of Claire and Joe in for episodes, among others. Liam from Lower League Look, I'm sure he'll be back. Sai, I'm sure he'll be back in no time at all as well, unless of course we lose to Colchester, in which case we might not speak to him for a little while. And we have to shout out Lower League Look, by the way, for their content over last week with the McCurdy and Payne interviews as well, been superb. And who's playing me in the background?
Sorry, that's me.
Oh,
But yes, please do continue to leave the likes, leave the reviews, leave everything, because it helps with the algorithm stuff that is beyond my comprehension. And but Craig understands it, and of course we do Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok apparently as well, which I know Craig loves. So follow us on all the socials, and there's loads of bonus content as well. But that's enough of me talking. Let's move on, and let's let Craig take control for a little bit. Because earlier this season, or at the beginning of the season, we did some predictions. And before I flash up the graphic of what we predicted the table would look like, Craig, you went back to that preview episode and picked out some interesting quotes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought, well, obviously start with what we all thought for Swindon. So there was quite a few of us on that day. I think the only people who weren't on were Joe, Kieran and Rich, if I do recall. But so it was a big panel that was on. So so when it came to like where we thought Swindon would finish, Ben went for playoffs, possible top 3. So similar to last season. Ned reckoned playoffs, but thought we could also finish top 3. And his quote was, "We destroyed teams with our style of football." And we'll do it again this year. So
I'll stick by it.
And was a reckon we could do top 3. And he reckoned, and of course he loves McDonald, and he said the leader McDonald would make the difference. Mark was saying that the results will be sketchy.
Well, fair play, Mark. You got that right.
Yeah, you get that right.
And he said that obviously that Payne would be a big miss. And he questioned whether McCurdy would be there at the end of August.
Again, spot on.
I mean, he said anything.
Mark.
This was Mark, yeah. He said anything other than promotion though would be a failure. So he felt at the state of play at that time that we'd finish between 9th and 12th, so top half. He had us down for. Ned, this is the first of the quotes. Ned, you feature quite prominently, you and Ben, on this. So this was in reference to Gabe Sutton with his prediction. Gabe is talking out of his arse.
Does anyone remember what Gabe predicted?
I think
he's like lower half of Swindon, wasn't he? Sort of mid-table.
Yeah, I think it was even bottom half. Yeah, he said, "Yeah, don't listen to Gabe for fuck's sake."
He said Tranmere going to win the league, didn't he?
That was it. That was exactly it. Yeah, you questioned that, which I think was fair enough.
What idiot would think Tranmere would win the league?
Shut up, Ned.
So going on to Nick, you had us third or automatics. You felt we had a strong bench and stronger squad compared to last season. Not reliant on as many loanees at that time at the beginning of the season. And of course, you had Tranmere at top. So less said about that, the better.
Long way to go.
Long way to go, yeah.
Tranmere's a long way to go as well.
Fifey had us down for the automatics as well.
Stick by it.
I felt that we were stronger than last season, but as I've said many a times, I felt that last season was a missed opportunity, too many unknowns.
Completely agree.
I felt that the first 11 was weaker, as I've said many times. I think I had us just missing out on the playoffs, from what I can remember. Woody said top 7 with the current squad at that time, but that we just needed another striker and a few minor changes. Of course, we still need that bloody striker, don't we? Mm-hmm. But he was confident that if we got that striker and a few extra additions, there was no reason why we couldn't get into the top 3. And also, of course, Woody said Wakelin is the next Jerry Yates. So to be fair, his first couple of months, he was looking that way until he sort of But I think overall, when we did the graphic, we decided between us to put Swindon into the playoffs.
No, we had them in automatics.
Oh, in the automatics, did we?
Yeah,
oh,
we
okay
had
then.
a third.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's okay. Fair enough.
Million
Then.
miles
Yeah.
off, you know. It's not terrible predictions.
Crawley, look at Crawley. And
So I've got a
Mansfield.
few. I mean, do you want me to just speak about the not? I won't go through all the teams.
Yeah, go on, mate.
But just those that we so like Carlisle, for instance, where we got put them 18 to 22nd. Ned said, "Shit club, shit players, shit ground, shit city."
Spot on, Ned. Start the fence there, mate.
So I think. So yeah. I mean, obviously, and where are they now? Seventh in the league. So.
Oh, shit. Stand by it.
I mean, Wimbledon are top half. We got that right, didn't we? Barrow we had down for relegation. We obviously got that wrong. Bradford we had in the automatics, so a little bit off there. And obviously Carlisle in the down the bottom. Colchester, Ben had them down to be relegated, and we had them down bottom half. And to be fair, Ben's right at the moment. They're in that relegation spot. So yeah. And then of course Crawley was the contentious one, wasn't it? But yeah, Ben didn't like Crawley to say the least. You didn't like their arrogance, their arrogant owners. That was it. You did make pains to differentiate between the ownership setup and the actual club itself. You were quite scathing, to be fair.
Nice.
You said, "I hope they fall flat on their arse." I was adamant that they'd be in the automatics. I was absolutely adamant. So obviously I was wrong there, and I felt that they'd be competing for the same type of players as we would be in January, but I don't think that would be the case now. And then we went on to Doncaster. We had Doncaster in the top half, which they are, to be fair. Crewe bottom half, which they are. Gillingham, we didn't have Gillingham in the relegation, but we did have them in the bottom half. And then Grimsby, which was Fifey's underdogs. You had them for as playoff contenders.
Yeah,
Good, yeah, not bad.
With the whole momentum thing, which was a absolutely fair point. And they also kept the majority of their squad from last season. So yeah, that I mean, to be fair, obviously it's still early days, but that's still a possibility, obviously, isn't it? So yeah, Harrogate we had down in the bottom half, which they are in the 18 to 22nd, despite their good start. So we were right about that. Hartlepool, Woody had them down as a surprise for the playoffs.
What a Woody.
Yeah,
he can't get everything right, I suppose.
No, you can't.
Woody.
I think the general consensus was that we had them sort of down in the bottom half. I think me and Wazza and Ben were all pretty much in agreement then. One of the surprising things that I found was Leyton Orient. We only had them either in playoffs or top half, which
Yeah,
I'd have thought we'd have been a bit more generous towards them. But yeah, Ned pointed out the signing of George Moncur, of course, who is someone who we could have done with, to be fair, and obviously the Wellens effect. And also Ben pointed out that they had the best manager in League Two in Richie Wellens. Do you still feel that way? Yeah,
absolutely, 100%. You still got the best manager in the league.
Well, the proof is in the pudding, isn't it, mate? At the end of the day, so yeah.
He knows how to get
Flynn was the good one.
Sorry,
I thought Flynn was the good one, Ben.
No, Flynn was one of the good ones.
All right, sorry.
Pretty good.
So yeah, then we had Mansfield. I think it was a toss up between automatics and playoffs, which is pretty much what it's looking like at the moment. Mark was adamant that Atkins will be the leading goal scorer in the division this season. I don't know how many goals he has scored.
He's not rated there.
But Again, and I'm sorry, Ned, but some of your quotes are just absolutely awesome, mate. I just think Mansfield are one of those teams that's always going to languish in League Two.
Says the Swindon Town fan.
Well, League 1 and 2, to be fair. We haven't always, we normally sort of get out eventually, don't we? But yeah. And then there's so then we had Newport, which I think we all agreed would be down near the bottom, which they pretty much are 18th. So we were right about Newport. Northampton. Now, it's a quote from me this time to show how wrong I've been. I said, basically, they're a physical team that shithouses. There's so many better teams than them in this league, and they are third. So,
yeah,
I was obviously...
They still shithouse, Craig. I'll give you that.
That was probably about the only thing I was right, mate, at the end of the day. But,
very good at shithousing.
I think, to be fair, though, Northampton was the one that I think we just had a broad view. So there was me with the more extreme at the bottom. There was some who said automatics and playoffs. So in the end, we put them in the 8 to 12 position, top half, basically. But yeah, obviously we weren't too good about that. Rochdale, 18 to 22. So yeah, again, we're right about that. It's surprising how, quite a few.
Considering we're shit at score predictions.
Yeah, we've a lot of these predictions we've got, we've got quite right. Salford, again, that was sort of 8 to 12. So yeah, again, they're ninth position. So they're in a bit of a transition.
Much more 8 to 12 than that.
Yeah, they're in a bit of a transitional season, aren't they? With a different type of manager, that young manager. I've forgotten his bloody name now, but yeah. And then we had Stevenage, which as Woody has told us time and time again, he predicted Stevenage. It was me, Woody, and Fifey. We actually said Stevenage for the playoffs. Ben wasn't happy about this. Ben, I tell you what, the look on Ben's face when we said playoffs, it was like we cheated on him. I tell you, he just wasn't. He wasn't happy at all. He was outraged. Mark had him down as low as 17th, and then everyone else was sort of in between. Which, to be fair, Ben, you had him sort of 13th to 17th, and in the end, we put them top half. And I still think they'll. I think now they'll stay in the automatics. I can't see them, falling away now. And then it was Stockport, which Fifey had down as a possibility for the autos. And now we've got a Wazza quote here. Absolute rubbish. This is a joke. I can't have them in the playoffs. So yeah, Wazza wasn't happy about that at all. And to be fair, he was right. But that wasn't just you, Fifey. The bookies were putting them as favourites, weren't they? I recall at the time, and quite a few other people were pundits and stuff like that were saying about Stockport going up and all. And that's as far as I got, because I was at work and then I had to go work a trade, so I didn't do the last few ones like Warsaw and teams like that. But
is that right? You were delayed, Craig?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. I'm doing my podcast. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if you want to put the graphic back up again, Fifey, when you've.
Yeah, one sec. I've just knocked my tree decorations down. Hang on.
Oh no.
Oh, dude.
But yeah, I think, and that was the recap of the of our Falls predictions, really. So obviously we got Barrow wrong. Sutton probably slightly wrong as well. I don't think they'll get sucked into relegation, but yeah, I think I mean Bradford in the automatics as well. Is there anything anyone else wants to add about that?
I don't think we're a million miles away. We're obviously only just over halfway through the season. I think there's still plenty of change to happen, and I don't believe that we'll be too far out. There's obviously the odd exception, but I don't think we'll be too far out by the time 46 games have been played.
I sent you the wrong graphic there. We had Steve. I think we might have had Stevenage in the playoffs in the end because there's only 3 teams in the playoff position there when I screenshotted it. But yeah, I don't think we were. I think we were quite, at the moment, and obviously it's all to play for the rest of the season. But it was quite amusing going back and how sure we all were with our predictions and everything. And it was quite amusing.
For our last segment of tonight's episode, the last segment before Santa comes to deliver the 3 points on Boxing Day, it's the final question time of 2023, really, and we've been sent a doozy for you guys, which I've prepared to flash up. Who is Town's greatest ever DCM, and why is it Matty Hewlett? Ben, you reacted best there, so let's start with you. Who is it, and why is it Matty Hewlett?
It's not Matty Hewlett. I'm sorry.
I have to say, just by the way, anyone watching this live, if you want to fire any questions in, we've got time. We've got nowhere to be. We'll answer the questions live. So fire them in the chat and I'll flash them up on screen for the guys. But sorry, Ben, go on.
Entertainment value, Darren Bullock. But entertainment value, Darren Bullock, he really did like to get stuck in, didn't he? I think David Priest was a CDM as well back in the day. I think he was pretty good as well.
Who was
CDM? Who else was pretty good back there? Steve McMahon, I remember as well. He pulled the strings in front of the back four. He was pretty good, tough tackling. They're the best ones that actually spring to mind, I think. Mike Hewlett was all right, but he just played for us for a long time. He wasn't the best. Yeah, that's mine.
Just on the previous topic, Rob's tweeted in, Merry Christmas to you and yours, Rob. Got a feeling Stockport will get in the playoffs. Been pretty decent last few months. That's his take on the previous topic.
Could do.
CDM's Ned, Matty Hewlett.
There's only one answer to this, and that's Glenn Hoddle. There's no one else. Wow, but he was more defensive midfielder. Let's be honest. He wasn't.
He was sweeper, wasn't he?
He's officially sweeper, but he
was. Yeah, you're right.
That doesn't fit Ned's narrative, Craig.
Yeah.
Come on. Him and the other, I would say the other decent one I remember was Scott Leach.
Leach, you've got him. Yeah, he was quality. Good shout.
Decent. I think probably those are probably my top 2, I'd say.
Okay. Nick?
Oh, he's on mute.
Nick?
Mute.
Nick, you're on mute.
Mute.
On your headset.
Oh, it's all turned to carnage as is standard.
Oh, Nick.
Craig, while Nick fixes it.
Hang on, I'm on.
Let Nick speak.
That's because I don't smoke anymore. I'm fiddling.
Wow.
Don't do that.
This is a post-watershed production.
Right, okay. What I was saying is it's quite difficult for me to say because I missed a lot of the games through the late 80s and 90s. So for me, if you class him as a defensive midfielder, Anthony Grant, he was the best player in the league in that season that we won it with Wellings. Nobody could touch him. He was absolutely phenomenal. Hoddle, yeah, I understand why you're saying him, but I don't know if he was a defensive midfielder. He was just a complete footballer, and he could do anything on any part of the pitch, and he was phenomenal. But for me, Granty.
Yeah, there's Woody saying I was going to say Glenn Hoddle because even though he was a sweeper, he did move forward a lot. I think he kind of developed the CDM role as we know it now. Other than that, it's Anthony Grant.
Woody, we agree. Wow.
Craig?
For me, I mean, I've thought about this. I've thought about this a lot over the years. That position, and one that who I didn't appreciate as a kid because you just sort of think about the strikers and the flair players and the captains and the leaders and stuff like that. But for me, the best defensive midfielder that we've ever had is Ross McLaren.
Oh yeah,
That's a good shout.
You only have to look at the amount of appearances he made in Ozzy Aldilez's team and the sort of end of Lou Macari era and Glenn Hoddle team. They were all attacking teams, especially the Aldilez team and the Hoddle team. You know, and he was the one who would basically stay at the back and keep things ticking over and would, you know, be that ball-winning defender and ball-winning midfielder, and everything else. You look at the amount of he was like ever present so many seasons as well. So there must have been something about him at the time. And yeah, I think sort of looking back at it, Ross McLaren, he was an unsung hero of the late 80s, early 90s, I think, for us. And he he was key to the success of what I term is the golden era in the time that I've been supporting the club.
For me, this was a difficult one because I tried to rack my brain and whoever I name isn't going to be the best. I can only name the best of those that I've seen. Because, you know, I didn't get to see the likes of McLaren, Leach, Hoddle, etc. For me, the only answer to this question is Douglas. In terms of the ones I've seen, I thought he was a superb player. However, I like the point that was made about underappreciated and maybe Timlin came to mind as someone who I don't think I appreciated. But then I thought, well, hang on, if I'm saying that, Craig Easton's one of the most underrated players that I've seen during my time as well, and he played that position. So I'm not suggesting they're the best Swindon Town have ever had, but the underappreciated point is a valid one, and I would put Easton and Timlin in that bracket for me personally.
CDMs are often underappreciated because it's the goals that get notified, get noted with midfielders, and CDMs sort of do the dirty work, and they need to perform to make a team to tick. So yeah.
Ned, did you want to add your extra one in that you forgot about?
Yeah, Luke Nyholt as well. You know, what a player he was.
What a player.
Luke Nyholt.
What a goal celebration as well against Man United.
Yes.
He deserved to crack at the Holland, you know. I'm surprised he didn't even get even looked at Holland.
I don't know. He probably wasn't suited to the Holland team at that time. It was all more technically gifted players, which I don't really think he was really.
He was a hard nut, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was a hard nut, though. He'd let all the attacking players play in front of him. He'd sit there and bite the legs off anyone who went near him.
Yeah,
brilliant.
He's the absolute player that you want on your side when you're in the trenches against someone, isn't it? You know what I mean? What a player he was. But Luke Nartle as well. But no, I appreciate everyone who's been mentioned so far. I think Timlin and they're a really good shout as well. That's a really good shout.
Joe has messaged in, and I don't think I named her actually. So thank you to Joe for the mug. I honestly, I really do appreciate it. Do you think we will make the move for Austin, or is it just too romantic based on the Lindsay interview? Ben, you have changed your mind consistently over the last fortnight. What side of the fence are you on right now?
I'm still firmly on a yes, purely for the fact there's just too much noise now. There's just so much noise, and the club have not just. I know Sandro sort of tried to dampen down, but the club could quite easily just come out and just say, Charlie Austin is not on our radar. It's not something we're looking to go into. It's not, it's not something the club's looking to do, and it stops everything dead. They've not done it, and they're letting the fans keep getting excited. I think there's a possibility of it happening. I don't think it's a done deal, but I think there is talks, and hopefully it's something we can get done fairly soon. I just think Sandra today was just trying to dampen expectations a little bit because it has gone a bit OTT. Because our friends on another pod have promoted it quite a lot, and I think there's a lot of excitement about it. But I also do think there's so much noise. There has to be some truth in it, and I think it could be a goer.
Sean, adding to that noise with, I've been told to sit tight. There's going to be no. There's a lot going on in the next few weeks. Craig, yes, no.
I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, that's just instinct on my part. I've got nothing to really base it on. It's funny. I've got a different interpretation to what Ben's is on what Sandro Di Michele said today. Yeah. My interpretation of Sandro making that statement today was damage limitations, so that when inevitably Austin does go to Bristol Rovers, the fans aren't going to be as shocked or surprised. I just there's just been too much negativity that's come about it from the club. The club's sort of stance on it is lukewarm at best, and also with what Sandro said about we may be in the hunt for a striker. It's like everyone can see we need at least one striker.
Yeah, of course we do. He said absolute guff today. None of what he said made any sense whatsoever. It's just like the strikers we got. One's on loan. One's injury prone. One's so horribly out of form, it's unreal. And there's Wakeling.
And the thing is, Austin's not going to hold us to ransom. So for it to be, I don't believe it's a negotiating tactic or anything like that. He's obviously going to want to do a deal that's right for him financially, but he's not going to fleece the club. He won't fleece the club, and the club will be able to get a good deal, probably better than.
That's the thing. In League Two, no club turns down Charlie Austin.
Yeah, exactly.
No one. You are insane. You shouldn't be in the job you are if you're not considering having it at both hands.
I think near enough we could all agree that having Austin in the team isn't going to harm our reputation, isn't going to harm our chances.
In the we might get the odd Sky game because there's a bit of a story behind Charlie Austin. All that, it makes no sense not to do it.
But I just have a feeling it's not gonna happen, and he'll end up at Rovers, and our fan base will have a meltdown. And I think if he goes to Rovers, I think quite rightly so. To be honest, it would just be a really missed opportunity for us if we don't.
Nick,
right? Okay. I posted earlier on our WhatsApp group that is it one of two things. Sandro saying it's a bit of a negotiating tactic, and are we likely to sign him? Now, again, I've said today and in previous podcasts, defensively, we're not too bad considering the injuries we've had. We've done okay. Midfield, I think we've got on paper probably the best midfield in the league. If not, we can compete with anybody in the league midfield wise. Where we're lacking is up front. What we're missing is, and bear in mind, I'm 68 years old. I go to football to be entertained, to get off my seat, to get the adrenaline going, and to love watching Swindon Town. And how do you do that? You see a forward. You see somebody that excites you. You see somebody that gets the blood pumping. Now, in the past, we've had the likes of, in my era, Don Rogers, absolutely God for Swindon. We've had Fieldtoft. We've had Parkin. We've had Painter, Peacock, Shearer, to name a few. Those are the players that got you excited. They're all forwards. Bring Charlie Austin in. That will boost us. That will get the crowd going. That will bring money into the club. That will give us the skills, the nonce we need, the shithousery we've missed since Harry's gone. And it's a no-brainer. I've seen it in so many companies run by spreadsheet managers that jack shit about the business, don't understand the basics, don't understand how the actual system works. And if we rely on Sandro's bloody spreadsheet, we're just going in the wrong direction. Sometimes you have to think outside the box. Bring Charlie Austin in. A, you will put bums on seats.
Surely that's thinking in the box, by the way.
No, it's not. It's thinking outside the box. Sandro's box. It will bring bums on the seat. you will get people excited, you will get crowds increasing, you will get additional revenue, you will get somebody that will score goals for us, you will get somebody who can teach Jepcot, you could teach Wakeling, you can teach Massey how to play football, what they need to do. You can teach them the dark arts. To me, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Bring him in. I can say no more than that. If he doesn't bring him in, if he goes to Bristol Rovers, County Ground will turn absolute toxic. Simple as. It's sometimes you have to do what's outside the box, what's right at that time for the club to get it moving. As I say, we all love this club. We want the club to do well. That would give us that level of excitement that we've been missing since Harry McCurdy is gone. Simple as. Bring Charlie in, you get that back. End of message.
Ned, yourself on this?
Oh, how do I follow that? That's pretty much what I was going to say. I was going to say, it's essentially.
No, he's gone to the loo.
Oh, right, okay.
He actually wrote that privately.
Log out for that. Yeah, it's just the value of bringing him in surely outweighs whatever wage we're going to pay. He's not going to start every game. He might even be a substitute the games, but as Nick said, like the knowledge he can pass on to the kids. We've got so many young players, and it's not so much like his attitude or anything along those lines. It's you want to go places where to go in the box, and all the little bits and advice that he can pass on, it will be invaluable, and that'll bring on the values of all the other players.
All of our strikers could learn so much from Charlie because he's a Premier League player. He's been there and done that. He's been called up by England. He's such a good player. I just don't get why we just wouldn't jump at it.
One of the things that we get told by the club and by the players and the management team is for the fans to get behind the team, and that helps and that brings out good performances and stuff like that. Bringing in Charlie Austin, the county ground will be rocking. Imagine him coming on as an impact sub.
Yes.
People, the crowd will get going, and then they'll get beat. So, just for that sort of thing, or even if he's starting or something, the crowd will be more positive. It'll be less toxic. It'll be a bit more patient when things go wrong. If Austin's in that side, you can imagine the county ground will be rocking, and they'll be more likely to get behind the players when things go wrong, or just even when things are going right, they'll stay with them more, and that's what they need. That's no reason why to do it. And then they can't, if they don't bring him in, and then they're turning around and saying, "Oh yeah, the fans aren't getting behind the players." Well, we'd have had the perfect opportunity with Austin. That would have got the whole ground, the whole fan base behind the team.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
I think we're all agreed that it's an absolute no-brainer for the club to do it. Whether the club will do it or not, it remains to be seen.
I think it's like 50-50, isn't it? Nobody knows really, do they?
No. We hear rumours and everything. You got the Broadbent lot that, to be fair, they are in touch with Austin, so they, if anything, they are going to know more than anyone because Austin, they know the guy. But yeah, there is a lot of hype. And the club really, if it's not happening, just come out and say we're not interested.
Yeah, it can't drag on. It can't drag on throughout the transfer window because if it does, it's going to cause more damage.
It will reflect bad on the club, and it will reflect bad on the. So the longest this goes on, and he ends up going somewhere else, is the worst.
It needs to be by the end of the first week in January. Need to know either way.
Yeah, absolutely,
Agreed.
Just yes or no. I'd rather have a no by the end of January than it to drag out and drag on and on and on, and it'll just cause more problems.
In fairness, if I was Charlie Austin, I want this tied up quickly where he's going.
Well, because
he wants to get fit, he wants to train, he wants to play games because his time is limited. He's 33, so he wants to get. He wants to get this.
Let's not call 33 limited when in like 2 weeks I'll be 33.
Yeah, unfortunately, Fife, you're not going to have a playing career. In football, it's not happening now, mate. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I was happy to concede not to become a footballer just so I could host what is an amazing EFL podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Short.
You want to host the lower league look?
No.
You haven't, you know.
No, although if I was invited to co-host it at some point, I'd be more than willing to step in and help out. I hope you're listening, Liam and Grant. Let's
Replace Grant.
with regards to
Well, he'll have to because Hartlepool will be out the league next season.
Grant, that was a joke, by the way, mate. I love you.
Harsh but fair.
I want to throw it out there for any more questions before we say our goodbye messages for this episode. But Ben, I remembered we didn't come back to you for a chance to put right your earlier error.
Yeah,
So if you'd like to.
Personally, it's been a wonderful year. Look, for the family, it's been good. Sarah has done wonderful at her job. She has had doors open for her. I won't go into too much detail because the doors open are sensitive doors and what she's doing. But there is opportunities for her to progress in her own job, which is grand. And for mine as well, I received a promotion this year in my job. What's that look for?
I think that was to Gar's comment more than anything.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's Garth.
I didn't read that.
It was Garth.
What did it say? Pop up.
You just finish your little spiel, Ben.
You're all right. Yeah, no, it's been great for the old good year for Fred's as well. And he's been in his second year in his brand new school, and he's kicked on and he's looking a lot better and more settled and a lot happier. And his schoolwork is looking fantastic. And Jack's a shit. So,
Poor Jack.
oh no, he's genius. Actually, the boy's genius. He's top set of everything, and he aces everything without even trying. He's just a mouthy little sod as well. He's a little shit, but I love him.
Hey.
Really well done, Jack.
Jack's all right. You leave him alone.
Oh no, Jack's amazing. He's got no issues in life whatsoever.
He's
fine.
going to be a
having
top
great
lad.
life. He's going to be a good boy.
He
knows
is.
it.
Top,
That's his
he,
problem, but he's a good
tell
boy.
him from me, he's the top lad.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, just to flash up again for Ben's benefit, we wish Gar a speedy recovery from the crunching tackle he seems to have taken.
2 to 3 months.
Are you sure it's nothing to do with the 3 to 4 pints at the Excellence?
Whereas Woody's out for 4 months because he had to put the tree lights on.
Only now. Woody's only put the tree lights on now. Or...
No, it was a joke, Ben.
Fuck's sake. It's
Come on,
late.
Ben.
It's late.
It's not that late.
It's late time.
It is late.
Well, if it's that late, then short of any other questions arriving in the chat, I think the only thing left for us to say, and I won't name everyone individually because I will almost certainly miss someone. But firstly, to you guys, the 4 of you here, and to the guys who haven't made it onto tonight's episode, but the regular panelists, please, from the bottom of my heart, wish you and your families the very happiest of Christmas. I'll see some of you on the 30th, but obviously we'll all be in contact throughout. But yeah, honestly, to all of you guys, wish you and your families the very happiest of Christmases. To anyone who's been generous enough of their time to come on and feature, whether that's the likes of Claire and Joe, Gerald, Reese, Danny Wilson even appeared this year. For anyone who has featured on Fools Rush In, thank you very much for your time, and we wish you the happiest of Christmas as well. And most importantly, to every single person who watches us, who listens to us, and engages with us on all of our social media channels, who randomly sees us at match days and comes up to say hello.
Yes.
Thank you to each and every one of you. It means the world to us that you like what we do and you're so invested in it. And we genuinely hope each and every single one of you have the happiest of Christmases. But I think from myself, from Nick, from Ned, from Ben and from Craig, this has been Christmas Eve with Fools Rush In. Thank you very much for your time tonight. I, along with a special panel of festive Fools friends, will see you on Boxing Day. But until then, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Very
Take my hands, take my whole life too, but I can't help falling